Uh, Good morning, everybody. This is Subbu, part of Inme Bangalore team. I'll be taking the orientation for the Skandagiri. This is a batch of Skandagiri third batch starting at 22nd of March till 27th. And we have got kids joining us from multiple cities. There are kids coming from Kolkata and a few from West and from North, which is from Rajasthan, Delhi, and a bunch from Hyderabad also. And we have a total of 42 kids coming in. There's 19 girls and 23 boys. I'm just going to take you through the program design, activities, and the travel logistics
Subbu,
hit
can you
list.
please raise your volume a little? We cannot hear you clearly.
Can you hear me now, sir? Can anybody give a thumbs up if you can hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, you're audible. Yeah.
Okay, great. Just going to run you through the kit list, program design, and everything. If you have any questions, I would request you to put it out in the chat section. And once I'm done with the orientation, I can take these questions. And in the meanwhile, there's also my colleagues here on the chat. If there's anything urgent, they will also respond to you. I'm going to share my screen and take you through the entire orientation, and we'll keep the questions for later. Can you all see my screen? Any thumbs up?
Yes,
No.
we can see it.
Great. Okay, so this is the camp that children would be going for. This is called Camp Skandagiri. This is located in Karnataka, very close to the Bangalore airport, around 40 kilometers from the Bangalore airport. This is one of our new camps that we have built. We started this camp from 22 December, and from then on, it's been quite busy for us overall the years. And this is a camp that we kind of built keeping younger children in mind, which is for a 9 to 11-year-old children, and which has got a tent kind of an accommodation, the one that you see here. And they already have an attached washrooms, and it's much comfortable for children when they're stepping into the outdoors for the very first time. And just to give you a brief about what Inme does, so we are into completely an experiential educational company where we kind of run outdoor-based activities for children. We have been doing these programs from past 28 years. And as a brand of Inme, this will be our 15th summer. And this is a program where it's more like an introductory program for children between 9 to 11 stepping into the outdoors for the first time. And here they would be doing different set of an outdoor activities. There are activities like hiking, there is rope sports, there's basic outdoor survival, and bouldering. These are 4 different categories of activities where children would be doing each of these activities on each day. And for the rest of the time, they're engaged in a camp-based activities, which are a mix of team building activities or an art and craft activities, or it could be like a fun activities like rifle shooting and an archery, these kind of fun activities. But kind of like from morning 7 till evening 8, they're quite engaged throughout the day. In between, they have their play time, they have a time to relax and cool down also. But from morning till evening, they're kind of constantly engaged on a program. So this is a general day-wise schedule on our programs where children would be doing an outdoor activities typically in a morning session, and afternoons are filled with these activities that I just mentioned about. Generally, the days for the kids would start around like 6:30 in the morning. That's when we give them a wake-up call, and they would have their milk, hot chocolate, bonvita, whatever they wish to have, along with some biscuits at around 6:30. And from 7 o'clock, we get them ready for the day by doing warm-up sessions. These are like a mix of fun songs and stretches and small minute-to-minute kind of a games that we play. And this goes on for like a 35 to 45 minutes on every day. And we would have like a 15-minute break for children to get them ready and then come to the breakfast. And 8 o'clock is a breakfast, which is like a buffet kind of a system. And that goes on for a 45 minutes. And at around 9 o'clock is generally we kind of step out of the camp and we perform these activities. Generally, a ropes course as an activity is something that is there inside the campus. But for the other 3 activities, children would generally go for a short hike or to the rock climbing place, and then they perform the bouldering as an activity, and then they would come back. Generally, these outdoor sessions would last from 9 a.m. till 12:30 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and they are back to the camp by
Hey, hi.
lunchtime.
Can you please speak a little bit louder, please? The voice is a little feeble. We're not able to follow through clearly.
Okay. Is anybody else facing the same issue?
I'm facing the same issue. Your voice is not clear and loud, and you're speaking very fast.
No,
Yeah, a little slower, please, and
no,
clearer.
no.
Can you hear me now? Is that all right?
It's the same.
Just give me 1 second. I'm just going to change my.
Yeah, a little closer to the microphone if you're far off. Yeah.
Just 1 second, please. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, it's fine at our end. I mean,
Okay.
not
Yeah,
facing any issues.
It's fine at high end also.
No worries. I'm just gonna take it a little slow.
In
In
your
case if
top.
you feel that I'm going fast again, please don't worry. You can just let me know. I can slow it down again. So I was saying that our outdoor activities would generally start around 9 in the morning, and that's when they would be stepping out of the camp, and then they perform these activities, and they're back by the to the campus by at around lunchtime, which is generally around 12:30 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And 1 to 3 would be like a break time for children. That's when they'll have lunch and take bath and relax for some time. We do not recommend children taking bath in the morning because after that they would also be stepping out into the outdoors and doing these outdoor activities. So ideally, we want them to do it once they are back from the activities. And that's when they'll also have a little bit of time to relax. And at the same time, we do something very fun called as a tent inspection, where this is something that we want children to take care of their belongings, keep them folded in the tent, kind of builds a little responsibility for kids to manage themselves, right? So that's the idea of it. And at around 2:30, 3 o'clock, we introduce them to the camp-based activities, which are also called as school time activities. And these are a mix of different set of an activities. For younger children, it could be around art and craft as an activity where they do tie and dye or a face painting, or it could be like a team building kind of an activities where they would be doing strategic games, but together they kind of have to come together and then solve that particular task. And on an alternate day basis, we also do something called as a reflection session, where the small activity groups of kids would be sitting in their groups and then discussing about how the activities are, and if there are any challenges that they're facing, how are they able to overcome these, basically making them realize that there are a lot of things that they can learn, like doing team building as an activities, or conquering a rock that's around like a 10 feet or a 15 feet in height, right? So making them realize that they've got a lot of potential. So that we kind of have these smaller discussions. And 6 to 8 would be like a lot of fun time for the kids, where they do a mix of minute to minute games, or it could be talent shows that they're organizing. And that goes on till 8 o'clock. And 8 is the dinner, and 9:30 is the lights up. This is like a general day on our program, but every day they would be doing different set of an outdoor activities and different set of a camp-based activities. That is in terms of a program design. And these are the activities that children would be doing on the campus. So as I said, there are around 42 kids on the program, right? So not all the 42 children would be doing the same activities at the same time. So they would be kind of divided into a smaller groups. Like this 40 children would be divided into probably like a 15 in each group or a 20 kids in each group. And they would be doing these activities. Generally, this group division would happen on the first day when the children are on the campus. And that's when the camp chief would be taking them through the do's and don'ts, briefing about the program and introduction to the instructors. All of that would happen. And once the tent allocation is done, so we understand that there are a lot of kids who are coming with their friends. And if they want to stay together with their friends, it's completely fine. We give an option to the children to form a group of 5 kids or 6 kids per tent. That's the general maximum capacity of the camp, which is around 6 kids per tent. And they can choose who they want to stay with. Of course, the boys and girls are separate, and that option is given to the kids. But when it comes to the activity groups, so which happens a little later in the day, we kind of divide them randomly because all of them on the campus would be doing the similar activities. And the idea is also that we want them to mingle with other children, not to stick to that same friends group that they have come to camp with, right? So that they get to interact with more kids on a camp. They might find more friends also, right? So that is done randomly, and we kind of divide them into smaller groups. And each day they would be doing each of these activities. So, example, group one would do bouldering on one day, the hiking on the second day, low ropes goes on third day, and a basic outdoor survival on a fourth day. And these activities in terms of challenge level, these are age appropriate, which are done for a 9 to 11-year-old. The same kind of an activity like a rock climbing, we do it for a 9-year-old. There is for 11 and 13 and 15-year-olds also. But we kind of design in such a way that even a 9-year-old would be able to do it for that particular program, right? But obviously we want to challenge the children a little bit. So, and they're also not used to doing these activities on a daily basis, right? So they will go through a little bit of hardship, but that's completely fine. They might have like a 1 or 2 scratches while climbing a rock face. It's completely fine. I would say not to worry on that part. We call this as medals in the outdoors. There won't be anything major for you to worry about in terms of these scratches. These are something that they might get it when they're doing it. It's part of the program, right? And specifically talking about each of these activities. So bouldering is an activity which is part of a rock climbing, but this is most to do with the basics of rock climbing. Like boulders are something that are around like a 10 feet or a 12 feet in height. And on the first day, they kind of learn about the different kind of techniques and the ways to climb the rock. So first they'll have to map the route, how they want to climb the rock. They'll have to look for cracks or pinch holes like that. So they will learn a lot of technicalities around it, and they will practice this on a 2 to 3 different rock faces. And they keep increasing the challenge level from one rock face to another. But all of them would be around like a 15 feet or a 12 feet at max. And generally for this activity, they would wear their safety gear, which is like a harness, and they would also have like a crash pad. They do not wear a harness and a ropes for this because this is not like a big rock face. And generally 12 feet, 15 feet, where they're in arm's length to an instructor, right? That's the reason that they don't wear it. And when it comes to hiking and basic outdoor survival skills, both of them are like a trek modules, but the approach is very different. So in terms of hiking, children will learn about planning and execution, where they'll get to know about how to read a map and how to pitch a tent and how do you pack a bag when you're going out in the wilderness, right? So this is what they will learn. And they will also learn about survival skills in the outdoors, which is under basic outdoor survival skills. Meaning, in this also they go for a hike, but the approach is very different. Here it's entirely concentrated on survival skills. Like if there is no tent with them, how do they still survive? Like if there is a tarp and a rope, how do you build a shelter? Or if you have like a poncho, how can you use that as a shelter? And how do you collect water, or how do you build a fire? These are some of the survival skills that children would learn. And low ropes course is a bunch of different elements which are which are kind of built using ropes. So one of the pictures that you see here, this is a ropes course element, right? So like this, there are like a multiple elements that children would be participating in. And generally these elements are around like a 3 feet or a 5 feet above the ground. And they perform these in a multiple activities, and they would be doing activities together also, which is something to do with the team building as an activity in ropes course. And these are some of the things that we follow as safeties on the camp, where one of the main important safety protocols that we follow is the instructors, which is 1:6 as a instructor to children ratio. Meaning for every 6 children, there's an instructor on the campus, and this is a combination of male and female instructors. So it doesn't mean that six children would be looked after by one instructor. When I tell you about this activity groups, which are like a 15 or a 20 children groups. So if there are like a 20 children in a group, there would be a minimum of 4 instructors, and every group will have like a female instructor in it. And apart from this, there is also a camp chief who is the head of a program, who has been like working with the children for a very long time. And we have a doctor also on the camp. We are equipped with right from a basic medication till a nebulizer setup on the camp. And apart from this, in case if there is any necessary for us to visit a hospital, then generally we have an emergency vehicle also on the campus 24/7 available. And the closest hospitals are around like a 25 minutes drive from the campus. And apart from that, we also have like the transport that we have for the children. There are 2 groups of children that would be coming to the camp here. There's one group that we start from the Bangalore city, and that would be traveling separately. Whereas a lot of children on this particular program are also coming from different other cities, right? So they all fly into Bangalore airport, and from an airport there would be a different vehicle that is arranged for children. But all of these are like a AC comfortable vehicles that we arrange for the children based on the numbers. If it is like a 20 children group, there would be a smaller bus. If it's like a 30 or 40 kids, there would be a bigger bus kind of an arrangement. I know that in the program also there are some kids who are coming at a different time intervals. We'll arrange the vehicles according to that. And the equipment that we use on the program are like the international graded equipment, where these are something that are properly well maintained ones and logged properly after programs. And in case if there is any damage, then we kind of discard it. We don't repair and use it. So we make sure that all the equipment that that the children would be using before the campus are all properly vetted and then checked before it reaches that particular place. And accommodation, as I said, the tents that you saw in the first image, that's where children would be staying in. And these tents have got an attached washrooms also. So for every 6 children, that's the maximum number of children that we kind of allow in one tent. And in case if there are like kids who are coming as a 7 or 8 as a group, you will have to work around it, where you will have to divide yourself like 4 children in one tent and another 4 in another tent, right? So 6 is like a maximum capacity that we keep, but we have quite a lot of tents in the camp for this particular capacity.
बस ठीक है, best है.
Okay. So as I say, accommodation 6 children per tent, and they also have fans inside the tent. And generally during the summers, we kind of have an early summer in South. So at 22nd of March, we feel that mornings are slightly warmer. And after that, evenings would also get a little chilly. In case if it rains, then again, sometimes children have to wear a warm layer as well. Meals, as I said, there would be 7 meals arranged for children in a day. When they get up around like 6:30, they have the first meal, which is milk and some biscuits, and major meals, which is like a breakfast, lunch. I'm not sure who is on unmute. Can everybody put your mic on mute, please? Thank you. So the major meals, which are like a breakfast, lunch, and dinner, would be of a buffet system, where there would be primarily vegetarian meals. And we also have options for non-veg and Jain food also. So when you're filled an application form, generally you would have selected your food preference, and based on that, there would be things arranged for children. And these are properly nutritious meals that we want children to have on the campus. We do not recommend children carrying any sort of a junk food to the camp. In case if they want to carry something for a travel, they can carry it for the travel. And once they've reached the campus, we will ask the children to deposit with us, and we will return it back to them on the last day. Okay. There are 2 reasons why we do this. So one is that we want children to have like a proper nutritious meal, and not to have like a biscuit packet just before a meal. And because the kind of energy that they spend for doing these activities are quite heavy, right? So they need to have a good amount of meals. And apart from that, the second thing is when you're in the wilderness, in case if you open something like a packet and then just keep it in your rucksack, there are bugs and there are ants and there are also monkeys in the area. So they'll get to know that if you have gotten snacks, so they will just probably get inside your tent, and then it's not a comfortable thing for you, right? So you'll get scared, or probably you'll feel a little scared of the bugs, or even if there are monkeys, it'll also start panicking, right? So we don't want to get into any of it. So do not carry any food. If you want to carry it for just for the travel, and you can return it back to us. Okay. And apart from this, these are some of the norms that we kind of follow on a camp. And in the campus, we make sure that children understands these things on the first day when they reach the campus. Right. So this is not like a luxury camp. The basic idea of our camp is to help children to step out of their comfort zones. So there won't be any sort of a room service for you. In case if you need anything, you'll have to come to the dining area. That's where you kind of have meals. And if you want to fill out a water bottles or anything, all of that would be done by yourself, right? But there are designated place that you have to come and collect these things. And in terms of accommodation in the washrooms and everything, as I said, these are well-maintained ones, but it's not like a resort kind of an accommodation. your basic comfortability and everything is taken care. The washrooms are well maintained. They're cleaned twice a day by the staff. And generally, we kind of inform the children also like not to wear like a muddy slippers into the tent because there are also other children, right? So sometimes kids are kids. They might be like rushing into the washroom. They might have a muddy shoes. But in case if you see that, you'll just have to inform an instructor or one person on the camp where we'll send somebody to get your washrooms and everything clean. And also on this particular camp in the washrooms, there are also like a small pebbles. So you generally have to wear like a slippers when you're getting inside the washrooms, or else it might be a little pokey kind of a feeling that you have, but nothing harmful. This is there to so that the water kind of absorbs pretty much back into the ground fast. Okay? That's the idea of it. So just make sure that you're carrying one bathroom slippers. And this is the important part on the program, which is about the communication. So when I'm talking about the communication, children would be not having any sort of a gadgets with them, be it a mobile phone, music player, smart watches, or any of them. They can carry the mobile phones during the travel part. Okay. And when I'm saying travel, again, this is for the children who are coming from a different other cities who are flying into the program. You can carry it till the time that you reach Bangalore airport. And once you have reached the Bangalore airport, after that, we will ask you to deposit with us. And you will also give a call to your parents and inform them you are with the Inme team, and then switch it off and give it to us. And the same mobile phones, we will return it back to you on the last day. Okay. And apart from this, there won't be any sort of a gadgets with the children. But Inme would be updating a couple of, will be sending out a couple of updates. There would be a morning update and a evening update. Morning update is generally at around like 11 in the morning, and evening update is around 6 in the evening. And these updates would be like a text updates. This is something that comes to you on a WhatsApp channel. And I hope all the parents are following this WhatsApp channel, because this is where all our upcoming communication would be coming in. Okay. So the message that you have received about the orientation, not the one that you received today. Like on Wednesday, you would have received a message with the orientation link. And in the same one, you would also have received a WhatsApp channel link. Okay. So you'll have to click on that specific link and then follow that channel. Okay. In case if you haven't followed, Aditi, can you please post the channel in the chat? So that link you'll have to click, and on the top right corner, you will see an option called follow. And all our departure messages and any other guidelines that we are giving for the kids from now on would be coming in that specific channel. And all these text updates that we are sending on a daily basis would also be coming to you on that specific channel. Okay. And these updates are not about one specific child. It's about the entire group, like what activities they are doing and what's the general atmosphere on a camp. Basic details like this, where you once you read through these updates, you'll get to know what's happening on a camp. And apart from that, we'll also upload 15 to 20 pictures on a daily basis. When I'm saying pictures, these are not an activity specific picture of your child doing a rock climbing or a ropes course as an activity. Most of them would be 90% would be like a group pictures. Okay. Where these are something that we kind of covered and to give you a flavor of what's happening on a camp. And you can also see that children are doing fine and healthy. And 99% of the time we would post all the children pictures in that group photos. But there might be a day that where we are just missing out on one particular child. They would have rushed to a washroom, or they have rushed in to collect a water bottle from the water station. So things like these kind of happen. We ideally kind of avoid all of this, but there might be a day that you are unable to see your child's picture. I would say not to worry. Give us a day and we will upload the pictures the very next day. Okay. And apart from this, in case if there is any sort of an emergency from your end, every program of ours will have a program manager. Even for this program, we have Aditi, who is the program manager. She's, in case if you have any concerns, you can connect with her. And generally, her number is the one that you're receiving all these messages from. So during the program, if there is any sort of an emergency, you can connect with Aditi. And she's not on camp at any point of time. We have multiple programs happening. We kind of set an office, and then we are constantly in touch with the campus. And if there is any sort of an emergency from a campsite, okay, emergency meaning if there is like a small tummy ache or a cough, cold, something like this, which is very minor, we would not give you a call. We have a doctor on the campus. Things can be handled very easily. And in case if we see the child is unwell for a second day, or if we need to give an antibiotic, or if we need to take them to medical facility or something, then first thing is we will give you a call and inform you about the situation. And based on your input, we'll take the next steps. Okay. We are kind of very transparent in terms of communication with the parents. It's just that the whole point of away from the gadgets and mobile phones is that we want that experience to be given to the kids to be connected to the nature and not distracted from a digital space. But we are available throughout the time for you in case if there is any emergency during the program time. And we have zero tolerance around bullying. So this is something that we see that sometimes children also kind of pick up on a fight or they're kind of arguing on something. That is all part of the program and part of the journey that you are trying to become a friends, right? But in case if you're trying to make anybody have an uncomfortable experience, then there's no like we don't take it very easily. There are very serious concerns that we have around this. And in case if we see that a couple of them are fighting or something, then we'll ideally have a discussion with them and then chat what's happening. And in case if we see that anybody's mistake, then we have a chat with that particular kid also. And in case if we do it again, there would be you would be missing out on an activities also. And in case if we see that happening again and again, there are times that we have sent back the kids from the campus as well, right? So we just want everybody to be there and have a good time and make friends, not to bully each other. Okay. And any sort of a substance abuse, again, zero tolerance around it. We send them back to the campus. And no junk. This already we discussed. As I said, this is something that is to benefit the children itself. So please do not send any junk food with the children. And pocket money, they really don't require it. We take care of everything for the kids from Bangalore airport or from Bangalore to Bangalore, basically. And for the kids who are flying into the program, ideally, you can send them some cash with them. That's where children would be in case if they want to grab a meal at an airport or in a flight journey, right? So that comes in handy for them, but nothing more than 3,000 or 2,000 is required for them. And there's also like a small merch store that we open on a last day. If they need something, they can just get it from there. Or once they're back, you can just go to online and order it from there as well. Okay. And there's one part that I want to talk about, which is the travel. Okay. So as I said, there are children who are traveling to Bangalore city and to Bangalore airport also. And for some of the cities, we also have an escort traveling with the children. Okay. So for this, we would generally send you the details 2 days before the departure date in the same WhatsApp channel. So on 20th evening is when you would receive the details from us about the, if it is kids who are reporting in the Bangalore city, we will let you know the location and the timing and one of our departure managers number. And apart from this, for the kids who are traveling through the Bangalore airport, if you're taking an escort, we would let you know the name and contact number of the person 2 days before the departure date. And we will also let you know to meet at a common point in your specific city at a specific time. Ideally, we want children to be in the airports at least 2.5 hours before the departure time, so that we kind of receive everybody and then they have a very hassle-free kind of check-in and everything. Okay. And please make sure that the children are carrying their original ID cards. In case if you have booked your child on a student fare, please don't forget to send the ID of the school also, like the school ID. And apart from this, for the children who are traveling on the flights, we would recommend them to carry a small pouch where you can put your mobile phone charger, and a power bank is necessary if you're carrying a mobile phone. Okay. And please do also send a return ticket hard copy. Do not depend entirely on the e-copies or e-boarding passes. Please do send a hard copy of that as well. So all of this would have to go into that pouch, and the pouch has to be labeled on the child name, which we collected at the Bangalore airport and return it back to them on the last day. We just hand over that pouch back to them. And generally, departure from the Bangalore airport is anywhere between, like, we start receiving the children from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. And probably by around like 11:30 is when we start from the airport back to the campus. And for the Bangalore children, they start around 10 o'clock. 9 o'clock is the reporting time. And by 12:30, they should be reaching the campus. Similarly, for the kids who are coming from the airport also. But there are a couple of other city children who are coming in a little later. So we would receive them based on their arrival times in the Bangalore airport. And from there, it's generally around like a 1.5 hour drive to the campus. Similarly, on the last day, we would ideally drop them back at the airport at around 4 o'clock in the evening based on the flight timing. In case if there is 1 or 2 children who have got little earlier flights, we'll drop according to that particular time. Okay, this is in terms of the program detail, logistics, and everything. I'm just going to run you through the kit list for the program as well. And this is something that we kind of design. Just give me 1 second. Now, so this is designed to kind of have these things in any sort of a different weather conditions. Like there are times that we also kind of receive like a pre-monsoon showers in Skandagiri camp. So there are some things that you would see that like a warm layer or a raincoat in a typical summers also, but I would recommend you to send whatever we kind of mention in the kit list. Do not skip anything that we mention in the kit list. Okay, so these are basic apparels, which is like 6 to 7 t-shirts and 2-3 shorts. These shorts generally children wear it during the when they're in the camp, and whenever they're stepping out of an activity, then they ideally have to be on a track pants. And 7 to 8 pairs of socks and 1 quick dry travel cap is very important. Ideally, my recommendation is that for the parents to make sure that children kind of pack this entire rucksack, okay, help them out through this journey where they can figure out what and where these things are going out in these rucksacks, so that they know once they've reached the camp, they know where they have kept their stuff. Most often we see that children doesn't wear a cap saying that they haven't got it, but it would have been in some part of the bag. There are multiple zips and pouches, right? So please make sure that children kind of pack these bags so that they know where these things are going, and sufficient undergarments. And if there are children who are comfortable having a night clothes, you can send a couple of pairs of those, and fleece jacket or a sweatshirt. So this is called as a fleece jacket, and sweatshirts are something like a hoodie that children have. So you can just send one of it just in case if they feel cold in the evening. And poncho or a raincoat, it's the same. Again, 1 raincoat should do. And footwear, this is important. So any sort of a sports shoe that children have will do. If they have a trekking shoe, that's also great, but it needs to have like a rubber sole comfortable grip. Okay, do not send something that doesn't have a good grip. Okay, and apart from that, the second one, children can wear these hiking sandals. These are kind of available in any of a outdoor stores, and it's important that you send something like this which has also got like a ankle support. Okay, or else if you send like a
वो
slide
जूता
ons
देखा
or a
तुझे
Crocs like that where they don't have
वो
this.
ही जूता है सही नहीं मिला ही नहीं
Hi, can you please put yourself on mute? Okay, so they need to carry something with an ankle support. That's very important for the program. Or else we kind of see that children running around without this ankle support, and we did have few incidents where they fell and then they have to rush them to a hospital also. So these are some small.
Subbu, if you're sending these two, we don't need to send slipper as well, right? Or
no, the bathroom slippers are not required. They can just wear these into the
perfect. Thank you.
Other personal toiletries, there's no toiletries that are given on the campus. You'll have to carry your own, and these are something like shower gel, soap, whatever you're comfortable with, along with some toothpaste, brush, paste, and all of it. And please don't forget to carry a sunscreen. Okay, this is important whenever you're stepping into the outdoors. And mosquito repellent cream or spray, whatever you're comfortable with, and 1 pair of sunglasses, torch, or a headlamp is very important when you're coming into the outdoors. And for the kids who are flying into the program, please make sure that you are keeping these batteries, your cabin bag, not in your check-in one. Check-in one is something that you have like a big bag that you check in. So don't put any of your power banks or your batteries or any of them in that bag. Carry them in a smaller backpack. Plastic, this is like a laundry bag which they can use it once they have used the clothes. And water bottle, a minimum of 750 ml or a 1 liter bottle. Do not send something like a bottle that has got a glass liner or anything like that. Please make sure it's either like a metal or a hard plastic one. And a sleeping bag, this is what children would be using inside the tent. And generally our recommendation is that children carry one on their own. In case if you are planning to buy one, there's also Inme merch store. You can just visit in the second page, and then you can go and get this sleeping bag where we can deliver it to the children on the campus itself. Okay, or ideally that's our recommendation, that children carry one on their own. In case if they don't, then nothing to worry about. We will provide the sleeping bags to them on the campus. And these are not something that are like a brand new ones. These are something that children have used in the previous programs, but they're well maintained and sanitized and sun-dried after every program. And in case if you're very used to having a pillow, you can carry an inflatable pillow. This is an option for you. And apart from this, you don't have to carry a bed sheet or anything like that, because sleeping bag is something that they wear during the night. And medicines, as I said, we have a doctor on the campus. We are well equipped in terms of medicines. But if there are any medication that children uses on a daily basis, uh, and if there is any allergic reaction kind of medications, you can send those with the children. And when you're sending them, please send it in a pouch labeled, and also send out a note, what is it used for. And apart from this, in case if there is any of your buddies in the tent who is unwell, if you have a medication, please do not pass on to that medication. Okay, we don't want anybody to self-medicate themselves. We'll have to connect with an instructor or to a doctor on the campus. Under the guidance of these two people, you can take a medication. And children who are wearing glasses, if you can carry an extra pair of glasses, would be great. So the image that you see here, this is called as a rucksack. Okay, this is something that you have to use for a outdoor program. We do not recommend trolleys or suitcases for the program. These are not the places that you kind of use these trolleys. And you'll ideally have to get a rucksack or a duffel bag. These are two things that you can carry for the program. And whatever we are mentioning in this entire kit list has to come in that bigger bag. Okay, and apart from that, you will have to also carry like a small knapsack, which is generally like a 10-liter or a 20-liter knapsack. That's where you put your water bottle, your medications, and your cap or something whenever you're going out for an activity time. And for children who are traveling in the flights, make sure that your IDs and your tickets and everything is put in that smaller backpack. And this is where you put your headlamp batteries also, or your torch batteries. And cash, we already spoke, nothing major. If you are coming on a flights, please to send some hard cash with the children. And these are things that we generally tell children not to carry, mobile phones or any sort of gadgets. And expensive jewelry, would not recommend it. Please keep it at home. And all of these things that you generally see here are also not allowed. So in case if you have a habit of reading a book or something, there are books on the campus, or you can carry one on your own also. Generally speaking, you will not get a lot of time to read a book, but if you have a habit before going to sleep, you can carry one. In case if there are children who wants to carry a camera, it's their responsibility. So ideally send out a small one like a point and shoot. It's not mandatory. There are instructors who take multiple pictures of the children, and we share those pictures with the parents. And in case if you still want to send a camera, you can send it, but there are charging stations in the dining area. But it's the children's responsibility and they have to take care of it. This is something that we already spoke, which is about carrying a small pouch and having your power bank and mobile phones and all of that. Okay, that's pretty much. And for the children who are taking UNMR, I know that there are a couple of kids who are taking a UNMR service. And for you also, we would be sending out the details 2 days before the departure date, where you'll have to fill in the forms for the children. And this is only for the kids who are traveling on their own without an escort. Not to get confused for the escort. For escort, if you have taken out an escort service from us, you don't have to take up a UNMR service. This is the merch store where you can just click on these links, and then in case if you want to buy anything, ideally it's a little late for us to deliver for the program, and the only exception is a sleeping bag. In case if you want to get one, you can just go to these website and then buy it. We can deliver the sleeping bag to the children on the campus itself. I'm kind of done with the orientation. If you have any questions, you can, there's an option in the reactions to raise your hand, and we can take these questions one by one. JB.
Yeah, hi. First of all, thank you so can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yeah, please go ahead.
First of all, thank you so much. I mean, the orientation was bang on. I mean, actually, I have no questions. Just wanted to have one query in
Sure.
terms of gadgets. A fitness tracker, does that also qualify as something which you will keep back with you for 4 days, or that the child can wear? It's just I mean, there's no calling service on that. It's just a regular, footstep tracker, fitness tracker. So just
Understood.
wanted your, yeah.
Understood. So there are like a different kind of fitness trackers, right? So if we say that, okay, you can carry one, there are questions around, can I carry one with the SIM, without the SIM? And these are also like an expensive ones, right? So when the children are doing activities like rock climbing and ropes course, most of the time we see that they get damaged. So we decided that even do not send any of these equipments also.
All right. It makes sense. Thank you so much. Yeah.
No worries. Arav, parents?
Yeah, hi. So in your kit list, you've mentioned the sandals, but I'm not able to find those sandals, the hiking sandals.
Okay.
So,
Ma'am, they are available at Decathlon. I just got them a week back. Yeah.
yeah, but they're not available in Indore Decathlon, and
Okay.
his size is not available. So I just want to understand when are they going to be using these sandals, or can I just send instead 2 pair of shoes?
Understood. So generally, children would be using these sandals apart from an activity time. So whenever they are doing an activity, they'll have to be on the shoes. Okay. And for the rest of the time, they are on the sandals on the campus. There are playtime that they would be having. And generally, kids, they keep running around in the campus also, right? So even though we tell them not to run around, we see that these things keeps happening, right? So it's just an extra precaution, because what happens in the Crocs is that they don't put there are also like a strap that you get in the Crocs, but they don't often use it, right? So, and when they're running, in case of the slip, we see that children are getting injured. So we just wanted to make sure that they have the sandals so that things are taken care for kids. But you can get this in Wildcraft or Adidas or any of these stores.
I went to Wildcraft store also. His size was not available, so I've just got Wildcraft shoes for him, which they say are very good for like with like rubber sole and
No worries. I mean, if he is comfortable with the other pair of shoes, no worries.
All right. Oh, all right. Thank you.
Raghav.
Yeah, hi. So, right at the beginning of this talk, you had mentioned that boys or girls, they go in their groups and they want to be together. So my issue is that my son is going all alone. It's his first time. He's just turned 9. And what I saw is that the people are going in groups of 6, 8 and all that. So he might end up being the only child who is not going with any, previous friends. So is that okay? I mean, do you see that people who go in groups, they tend to just stick to each other, and, the child who goes alone just feels left out? Like, he's perfectly fine going alone. In fact, he told me he doesn't want to go with any friends and he wants to go alone.
Great.
So
ideally, ma'am, on a camp that we have, there are sometimes that we have like groups of children coming in. There are children who would come with their siblings, or there are a lot of kids who come on their own, like what you mentioned, like how Raghav want to come on his own. There's a lot of kids who want to come so that they can make a lot of friends on camp, right? And by design also, that's what I mentioned, that we don't give an option for the kids when they have to do the rest of the activities, right? Either it's an outdoor activity or a game time, any of these places, we don't give an option for children to choose a batch, right? Or else what happens is they want to stick to that same group. That's not what we want to do. And by design of a program is also that they're right from the first day, they do like a lot of ice breaking sessions, name games and things like that, right? So every day they're doing activities together, they are playing together. So they would be able to make friends in the first couple of days itself. And sometimes I see that even before reaching the campus, just in the bus journey, they sit next to each other. There's no gadgets with them, right? By default, they'll have to make a conversation. So that's a great time for them to interact with each other, and they make friends during that journey itself. So I would say not to worry, things are well taken care.
Thank you. Just one more question, like for children who are coming from, out of Bangalore, like suppose they're reaching the airport at 6 in the morning, and by the time they land and by the time you take them to the camp, it will be afternoon probably. So it's advisable to send food for them only for the flight, or even, till they reach camp, they will be needing food.
So once they're with us at the airport, and we kind of receive the children from 8 to 10 o'clock, right? And 11 is when we leave from there. But the buses are getting, like, they're stocked up with the snacks and they can have a small meal. But in case if they're coming in too early, you mentioned it's 6 o'clock, so I just need to.
No. They're landing at 10, I think, from Calcutta. Okay. They land at 10 a.m.
Got it. But I would recommend to book meals in these flights. Air India is a full service flight, but apart from that, in case if the children are traveling in an Indigo or another Akasa or something like this, I would recommend you book the meals for the kids in the flight also.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Sure. Hi, buddy. I don't know your name, but it says iPad. You have a question?
Yeah, so just a message for Mrs. Bhuvalka. So you don't need to worry. My son is also not going with his group and just turned 9. So I think we'll get many such children. So it's good to stay in strange environment also. So I'm also from Kolkata anyways. So not to worry on that part. Yeah.
Great.
One thing while you mentioned there would be certain safety things What I missed that line actually. What was
Sorry,
that?
ma'am, can you please repeat?
I'm saying, I think there's somebody else has unmute. I'm saying while you were saying in the orientation, you mentioned that, there would be certain pokey things or something you were mentioning. I did not follow that line.
Okay, so
While about the tent or something you were saying, so.
okay, so in the washrooms are attached to the tent. Okay, in the washrooms there are like a small pebbles, like a small stones. Okay,
Okay.
so we have that instead of a tiles in some couple of places in the washroom, so that the water kind of seeps into the ground. Okay, so when they're using the washrooms, generally there are also like a bathroom slippers that are outside the washroom, which we generally arrange for the children. So I'm just setting an expectation for the kids that there would be some pokey things, not to worry on
That
it.
they know that. Okay.
Yeah.
One more thing, like since we already know there are 42 children, so can you tell us like how many of them are like 11 years around, like the higher age category?
Ma'am, I have to go through it for a long time to figure out this data, but I don't have it handy. All of them are
So
around
can you
9 to
please
11.
ask Aditi to just post on the group the age wise the number if she can do that? It'll be
Sure. We'll post it in the channel.
Yeah.
No worries.
Thank you.
No worries.
Yeah.
Shania?
Yes. So I had two questions.
Yes.
One was that the bouldering activity, how easy or difficult is it going to be? And if at all a child is not being able to probably, if they find it difficult to do any physical activity, how easy or difficult are we on the kid?
Understood. So any of these activities, ma'am, the idea is that we want to push the challenges for a little bit for the children, right? But at the same time, keeping in mind that these are 9 to 11-year-old children, right? So when they're doing these activities, these are boulders at around like a 10 feet or a 12 feet in height, okay? They're not going to be like a too difficult for them, but at the same time, they're trying to figure it out for the first time, right? So they'll have to figure out techniques. They'll have to probably in the first rock phase, they might need a little bit of support from an instructor and all of it. But in case if they're unable to do it also, first we'll try to understand what is it that children are going through. Like, is it something that they're scared of, or are they feeling it a little challenged, right? So based on that, instructors would encourage them and then give that support for them to overcome these challenges. But at the same time, in case if it's like something very difficult for a child, right? Ideally, it's not designed like that. But in case if we see that if they don't want to do it at all, right? We don't push them too hard.
Okay.
If they don't want to do that specific activity, it's fine. They can do the rest of it.
Okay, sure. And my second question is that she being a girl child, will she have a girl support for any girly kind of queries or questions that she might have?
Understood. Got it. So generally, when the children reach the campus, right, I told that there would be a briefing session by the camp chief and the instructors. Once that entire briefing session is done, then all the tents would be allocated for girls, and every tent will have like a tent in charge, which is an instructor. Okay. So the instructor would go into the tent and then explain it to the children in case if you have your cycle during the time. With the younger children, sometimes we all see that it might be the first time that they're getting a cycle on a camp, right? So again, we make sure that things are arranged for children. There are sanitary pads and everything that is arranged. Where are the disposable areas? We kind of carry all of these medications and everything for children throughout the time. Like either if they're on a travel, we have a dedicated medical kit with 40 different medications that we carry. And sanitary pads are also there. And during an activity time on a campus, we have a doctor also on the camp, right? So they're well taken care on the camp. The only request from our end is that the girls need to come and speak up to an instructor, right? To a female instructor, and rest everything can be managed and well taken care for the kids.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Sure. Nidima.
Hi. I just wanted to know if you want to speak to the child, do you have any way that we can, or is there a time that dedicated to it when we can call and speak to the girls?
Okay. So, sorry, ma'am, can you please repeat the second half of the question?
If there is a dedicated time where I can call and talk to the kids, or you all don't allow at all communication?
Okay. So during the entire program, ma'am, until or unless it's an emergency kind of situation, you won't get any call. Okay. These days, we also see that more than the kids, it's the parents who are missing the kids. It's the other way around these days. Okay. We see those things also happening, but ideally, as I said, we keep you well informed about the well-being of the kids in terms of text and the pictures. But I would recommend not to worry too much on that part. We are well taken care. But at the same time, from the kids' side of it also, right? So we see that younger children of this particular age group, they might tend to get a homesick. That's the part of the process that they will experience on a camp, right? But our
Right.
instructors are also there to handle these kind of situations. They're well trained because we have also been working with the younger groups for a very long time, right? And in case if we need any help, probably we will give you a call and check what are the topics that children likes, and then probably we'll have conversations around that. And if it is required, probably if they're homesick for the second or a third day or something like that, then we will make an exception and then make a phone call. But ideally, we want that space for the children to grow through that, right? We want that opportunity for children to understand that they have got that potential.
All right. Thank you.
Sure.
Excuse me.
Padmaja ma'am.
Excuse me.
Hi.
Hello, actually, we will be able to travel only on 22nd actually because we have
I
the
know
exam.
you are from Chennai, ma'am.
Yeah, we are from Chennai. We
I
had
know we
called.
spoke about this, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
right. So I just wanted to know how do we drop? Like we probably will reach Bangalore around 7 or 7:30 in the evening.
Understood. So what I'll do is after this orientation, we will send you the location of the camp, and Aditi will also connect with you and to share a contact number and where you can drop.
Okay, sure. Okay, thanks. Yeah, for two people. Yeah.
Yes,
I just
Srijika.
wanted to. Yes, I just wanted to ask, whom do we need? When do we inform whom to stay with? Do we need to follow
Understood. So
time?
you want to stay with your friends and you want to figure out when you have to make that group. Okay. So when you reach the campus and when you're allocating the tents for the kids, that's when we will ask you to make a group of 5 or 6. So it's up to you. During that particular time, you can just go ahead and make that group.
Okay.
But it also comes with the consequences of if we see that you guys are being too naughty, then we will shuffle you into different tents. Who? Prateek Agarwal.
Hi, good morning, everybody. So I had a few questions. One, I have not been able to find the pair of shoes as well as the sandals because my son's size is not available in Kolkata Decathlon. So I was just asking you if I could send the shoes which he's wearing, but they are not waterproof. Will that be okay?
That's all right, ma'am. It doesn't have to be a waterproof one.
All
As
right.
long as they have got like a good grip, generally kids these days, they kind of play some sports, right? You can just send one of these sport shoes, not to worry.
Right. Thank you very much. Also for sandals, I think it's cleared by now. I had just one more question that I wanted to ask you. So my son sometimes has a lot of gastric issues when he
Okay.
eats out. So I happened to give him a medicine which I did not mention in the form. So now
Okay.
what should I do?
Understood. So what you do is, I'm guessing you would be in contact with Vinita ma'am from Kolkata, right?
Correct.
You can just send her a WhatsApp note saying that this is the medication that he is using and the dosage that is required. Okay.
Right.
The same details would be entered into our system and the same details would be sent to the camp also. So the doctor on the camp and the instructors on the camp would be informed about it. Generally, don't share this medical information with any other kids also, but the team on the campus would be aware and well taken care of.
Right. So you don't want me to send the medicine.
No, you can send that medication. I
Right.
don't know which medication he takes, but these are like, if it is just generally like a Digene and this kind of a
Right.
medication, we have it.
Okay. All right. That will be all. Thank you. And
Sure.
Shubhu, for the if I want to connect, I don't know if you mentioned it, I must have missed it. So the 4 or 5 instructors that we have in the camp, if you want to connect with one of them, how would we do that?
Okay, so we do not share any contact of the person who is on the camp now. Okay, so the reason for that is managing kids from morning 6 o'clock till evening 10:30 is not really an easy job, like handling 42 kids on a camp in a wilderness, right?
Right.
And we want the team to be well rested and so they have 100% of their attention towards the kids. Okay, so if there is anything that you require during the program time, you can connect with Aditi or Vinita ma'am, one of them, and they will be able to help you out instead.
Right. That clears most of the queries. Thank you very much.
Sure, no worries. Kavya ma'am.
Hi. Very quick thing. My daughter,
Ma'am, can you be a little louder? I'm unable to hear
can you
anything.
hear me? Hello?
Yes, go on.
Okay. So my daughter, she has had a history of motion sickness, though lately she's been okay. But just that area of drive, Is it a little hilly or it's a flat drive is one thing I want to know so that I can inform in advance whether she would require a medication for motion sickness during her bus journey. Because she's not extremely comfortable with bus journey, but she's lately been okay with it in the
Understood.
last
Got
year or
it.
so.
So from the airport or from the Bangalore city to the place that children are traveling, these are not a hilly regions, ma'am. There's no winding roads or anything like that. Okay. But
Okay.
irrespective of it, in case if she's not used to a bus journey and then she needs a medication, we carry a motion sickness medication with us. Okay. So would you be traveling from Bangalore or is she
So
flying to Bangalore?
she's going from Calcutta and
Okay.
with the unaccompanied minor.
No worries. Okay. So probably what you
That
can
ways,
do
I
is you
can give
can
her the vomiting bags with her, though I don't think she would require, but that I can give it to her in her bag in case at all required or not. But just I wanted to let people, like, let you all know that if I need to inform somebody in advance and who is the right person and when should I inform them
you
about
can
it.
just drop a message to Vinita ma'am saying that she has got motion
Yes.
sickness and need a medication. We will make
Should
a
be
note of
good
it.
then. So that should be good then. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Priya ma'am.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Subbu, I have just posted few of the questions. Some may be annoying for you, but I'm
No,
just
please go
worried
ahead.
about the safety of the kids. So I've just posted 7 of the questions that I have.
Okay, just a second. Okay, qualification of the doctor would be an MBBS doctor. Again, they're well briefed and they would be informed about how to work with children and the dosages that they have to give, because when you give it for the kids and the adults, it's different, right? So they would be well informed on that part also. What certificates do we have obtained from the government to ensure we are authorized and certified? Okay, so there is no a proper government board or anything like that when it comes to adventure space, man, in India like this. But we are a registered company, and when one of our directors are also a treasurer in a board called as ATOI, which is a government board, which is called Adventure Tourism of India, and his name is Ronnie Golati. He's been one of our founders and a directors. He is part of the group also, and certificates of the trainers, we kind of keep it in house. We don't share the certificates of the trainers, and generally these instructors are like a outdoor instructors and a soft skill instructors. That's always be a mix of instructors. Okay. And when it comes to the certifications, generally when you have to be a technical instructor, okay, technical meaning if you have to do a ropes course or a rock climbing where there's an equipment that is involved, you will have to be certified from a mountaineering institutes. So these are institutes which are generally run by the defense. So there is a National Institute of Mountaineering or Himalayan Institute of Mountaineering Institute. These are in Uttarakhand and West Bengal and Himachal regions. And they have to go through this 1 month long course that they have to do. And once they do that, they have a certificate and a grade. And generally, since we are also like a very old organization, where we have been in the space for 28 years, some of our senior instructors or the instructors in these organizations also. Okay. And it's also like a very small world when it comes to outdoor space. So generally people who are coming into the Inme would be coming through a referral itself. Okay. We don't randomly get people whoever writes to us. Okay. And there's also like a dedicated screening process that they go through. And then we also have an instructor training programs that we do. So this in the last 12 months, we have done like 4 sessions of instructor training sessions, where these are for a campus chief who is the head of the programs. They will go to a certain kind of a training. And apart from that, there are soft skill trainings that the instructors would go through. There's also role plays that we talk about. Like example, when you talk to a 9-year-old or a 17-year-old, you'll have to be different, right? With a 9-year-old, you'll have to be more patient, repeat the instructions, have a lot of care for them, right? And we also do like a role play kind of a sessions. If example, I'm a kid who is a very picky eater, how do you deal with it? Okay. Or if I'm trying to be naughty, how do you deal with it? Right. So these are some of the trainings that they also go through. And in terms of good touch, bad touch, sensibilities, these are all something that the instructors would go through. And when they come to a camp, like a volunteer on their first camp, and they won't be doing a technical part of it. And after that, the camp chief, who is the head of a program, will evaluate them on different aspects that we have got. How well are they in terms of instructions? Are they showing up on time? Are they engaging with the kids? There are certain parameters that they would be qualified. And once they clear that, then they come as an instructor on the campus. So there are like multiple levels of screenings that we do. Okay. And How can we contact the kid? We'll be able to contact us in case.
Yeah, Subbu, sorry to intervene. I just have one question. See, my son is allergic, very allergic, in fact, to the mosquito bites. Okay, so
Okay.
he has eruptions as soon as he has mosquito bites. So I am anyways going to talk to Vinita and give the precautionary medicine, which will help him control it even before having it. But
Understood.
what is the situation of the mosquitoes? Like, is it like uh, very
I mean, it's the
too much?
wilderness, ma'am. It's not like a very mosquito-prone kind of region or anything, but it's wilderness. Sometimes in the evening, we do have probably for half an hour or so, but it's not like the campus is just swamped with mosquitoes like that, right? So it's
Okay.
a regular thing what we generally experience at cities.
Okay. Thank you
But
so much.
ideally, our recommendation is that you'll also have to inform the child that he needs to wear like a full pants in the evening, and probably if he has got something like a full sleeves tri-quick kind of a t-shirt, which is not very thick, he can wear
Mhm.
those to avoid the mosquito bites.
Yeah, yeah. I'll guide him on that. Yeah.
Sure.
And I'll give the precautionary medicine anyways, so
Sure.
that
And please
it
inform
is.
this to the Vinita ma'am also, so that
Yeah,
we are
I'll
informed.
do that. I'll do that. Thank you.
Got it. Okay. Okay. Coming back to the question, I already answered on that. In case if you can speak to the kid or not. So do I have to still extend?
No, Subbu, we are good. Go to the
Okay.
next.
Got it. And how are we prepared in terms of handling emergency like that? Again, ma'am, this is in case if there is like a fire kind of situation, like we are not in the deep hills, like there would be a forest fires or anything. But summers we keep seeing it here and there. There are some sort of fires, but nothing to worry that it comes closer to the camp because our campus is like a full-on green, and then there is also like a good amount of space from the camp to the hills. Like there are no trees in between also. Okay, in case of campfire. And again, this is also something that is close to the Chikbalapur district, right? In case if it is required, then probably we'll just walk away from the camp and then go to a next destination. Like there is a close by temple, which is like a big ground area there. We can go there, or we can just evacuate the kids in an emergency vehicle and then go get them into a hotel or somewhere like that. So far, we haven't experienced this as a real time. Yes. So there would be a night watchman on the camps during the program time. And generally, we have like a good amount of team on the campus. So 1:6 is a ratio that we generally talk about the instructor to children. Okay. Instructors are somebody who are with the children and engaging them in an activities. But apart from that, there is also campus manager, and there is chefs and campus team and helpers and all of them. If we want to generally look at like a adult to child ratio, it might even be like 1:4, but we talk about the instructors and the children on the camp. And again, we kind of take like multiple rounds in the night also. There would be instructor meeting that we have like for a good 1.5 hour every night after once the children are inside the tents around 9 o'clock. We sit and then keep discussing about how was the day for kids and what's the plan for the next day and things that we require. We have this meeting that goes for like 1.5 hour, right? And at the same time, we kind of do it at a common place where we are in a visible distance for all the tents. And if we see that anybody coming out or anything, we inform the kids. And again, as I said, this is a camp that we built keeping younger children in mind. Like they don't have to come out of the tent for in case if they have to use the washroom in the night or anything. They have got attached washrooms. Okay, but this is a properly maintained and a well fenced camp. So the entire campus is got properly fenced.
Because in one of the Google reviews, Subbu, it was one of the parent who has sent her kid 2 years back or something. She has mentioned specifically that there was no security at all.
In the program?
Yeah, night security, yes.
Okay.
So I just want to ensure.
But we kind of do have it in terms of our programs. I'm not sure if how the parent got to know, but we make sure that there is a night watchman in the camp. Good. That will be taken care of.
Thank you. And the last question is like, I know it's 1:6 ratio, but whether in the room there will be any adult along with the kids, or are they left alone?
No, ma'am. We don't, at any point of time, we do not have an adult and the child in the same tent. There are instructors like in the camp, there are like 2 rows of tent, and each row would have like 9 tents in one row, and the other row will have around 6. After every 2-3 kids tents, there would be an instructor tent. Okay. And there won't be an adult in the same tent along with the children.
Thank you.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, kind of.
'Hello?
Sorry, I was on mute, Subbu. I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Harshika, ma'am?
Good morning. I have a couple of questions too. Firstly, I would like to ask my daughter would be celebrating her birthday during the camp. So will there be a small cake cutting
Of
celebration
course,
for
we will
her?
celebrate her birthday. We'll make it very special for her.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Also, are there any other water activities also?
Not really. There's no water activities like a kayaking or anything like that, but they would be probably playing some games around water.
All right.
But they don't
Also,
get into a water body or anything.
so we don't have to send any costumes then.
No, ma'am, not required.
All right. Also, my daughter is a very fussy eater. Will there be an adult supervision in which they are regulating what the children are eating enough or not?
Yes. So generally, the food on the campus is also served by the instructors, even though we have the campus staff who they can do it. But instructors are the ones who do it because we kind of keep a watch on if the children are having good amount of meals or not. Because these days, most of the time, kids are used to having like a slice of a bread before going to the school, right? But
Right.
it's not the same thing that will work for a camp. They need to have
Especially when the food is so nutritious and healthy, I'm doubtful if children would be eating enough.
Got it, got it. But
Yes.
we kind of explain it to them also, and they will also understand after the first day because they'll also start feeling hungry, right?
Okay.
And at the same time, we also have meals together. Like in the same table, there would be like an instructor and kids who are sitting together having meals. So we kind of keep reminding them to have enough amount of water or have like probably go and have an extra roti and something like that.
All right. Thank you so much.
Sure, no worries. Are there any more questions? If no questions, we'll be ending the orientation here. Thank you all for joining on time, and we'll be sharing a departure details and everything with you in the coming weeks. Like on 20th is when we will send out all this information.